Welcome here. We are coast to coast. The Toronto Maple Leafs, the Vancouver Canucks. The Canucks looking to get atop the NHL standings with a win tonight. They will tie Tampa and Anaheim for first in the National Hockey League. The Maple Leafs continuing their 5-game homestand. And there are the Canucks, 3-1 on a 7-game road trip, a season-high road trip which sees them go to Ottawa and then to Montreal. For the Toronto Maple Leafs, they continue their 5-game homestand. The Leafs have been rolling in the right direction since that rough outing against the Nashville Predators. They've been very strong of late, but coming off a loss Thursday against the New Jersey Devils. Jonathan Bernier, his 8th straight start for Toronto. And of course, Ryan Miller looking for a 17th win. That would time with Pekka Rinne for most in the National Hockey League. Should be a great one. Jim Houston, Craig Simpson, Glenn Healy will have your call. But first, Andy Frost gets us set with the national anthem.
Ontario GTHL official Jeremy Rydberg. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight is Hockey Canada Night at Air Canada Centre. We ask that you please rise and remove your hats for a special rendition of tonight's national anthem. Please join Caitlin Kozel, along with the many members of Team Canada throughout the years, in the singing of our national anthem. Sing it loud and sing it proud.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land.
Thank you, Caitlin, and thank you, fans. Welcome back, all season ticket holders, members of Leafs Nation, and the many watching coast to coast on Hockey Night in Canada to Air Canada Centre.
Thank you, Andy. Biggest game on the biggest hockey night on the big stage. Vancouver is against Toronto, as it always is. His record says Ryan Miller has the Leafs number at 32-15-3 for his career, but the Leafs have beaten him in 2 of the last 3, and 10 of his 15 losses to Toronto are here. This is the 8th consecutive start for Jonathan Bernier, 4-2-1 in the 7, and for his career, he's 2-0 against the Vancouver Canucks. Referees tonight, Frederick Lecuyer and Eric Furlot, Matt McPherson, and Brian Mock work the lines. Putting in his lineup card first, Willie Deschamps, and the Vancouver Canucks goes with a red-hot line that features Brad Richardson, Lyndon Bay, and Sean Matthias. They have 8 goals on this road trip, and Randy Carlyle goes with his top group, Tyler Bozak, with Phil Kessel and James Van Riemsdyk. Maybe he doesn't want them to go head-to-head with the Sedins tonight, but we'll see. And this game from Toronto is underway. Stefan Robida to Tyler Bozak, who hacks the puck in. The top defensive pair for Vancouver features Chris Tanev in his first game in Toronto, and his partner is Alex Edler. Quickly to center, here's Lyndon Bay into the middle. Richardson from Belleville gets bumped against the boards. He couldn't get his backhander away. Canucks want to push the pace, and that should be good for especially this top line for Toronto. Bozak to Phil Kessel. Gets the puck deep, and both teams will make their first change, and Tanev will slow up to facilitate that. Sedin line comes on. Henrik and Daniel with Radim Verbat. And And so Randy Carlyle counters with Nazem Kadri, and he's put Daniel Winnick on the left wing and Mike Santorelli on the right side. Maybe a checking line that he's put together just for tonight. Because Kadri had been playing with Joffrey Lupul, and he gained the blue line, but just offside was Mike Santorelli.
Well, I think not a bad move by Randy Carlyle. You think of the game on Thursday night. Carlyle said about the way his players prepared, however they did. Tell him not to do it again because his team was flat, did not get out of the gate fast, and here to start that Kessel line that he was very critical of gives them the opportunity of maybe a little different matchup to get their offense going.
Head-to-head against top lines hasn't always been working out for them, so maybe he's going to get away from that. There's an icing call against the Vancouver Canucks. Randy Carlyle, pretty good homestand, but he knows that 11 of 13 games are on the road after he gets through this homestand and another one following, so they need to make hay while they're here.
And how about a loose bunch at the other end? Willie Desjardins has to be happy with the way his team has been playing. They were a confident loose bunch this morning, having a lot of fun on a 7-game road trip.
When you just beat Pittsburgh 3-0, you're usually upbeat coming in.
Loose and relaxed.
Luca Spiza got the puck, keep Santorelli, former Vancouver Canuck. Had a pretty good season for them before he got hurt last season. Sedin still on here, Winnick at center. Santorelli trying to get in and can't. And this defensive pair is the top one for Toronto with Dion Phaneuf and Cody Franson to play against the Sedins. Kadri misfired as he shot wide. And the first penalty of the game will come against the Vancouver Canucks and put Toronto on the power play. It's a hook on Kadri.
Well, you mentioned this line being a bit of a checking line with Santorelli and Winnick on the wings, but with Nazem Kadri in the middle, you always have a threat offensively. Nice stretch pass. The exit gets reaching. The puck goes into the skates of Spiza, and with losing body position, the exit takes the hook.
Well, one line that's not a checking line is any line that's got a Sedin on it, and Phaneuf knows he's going to have to be the shutdown guy tonight. A little bit of intimidation, a little bit of verbal jousting. 33 and 22 stay off the scoreboard. You've got a good chance of beating the Vancouver Canucks.
Canucks on this first power play win the face-off. Kadri at the point takes a shot through traffic. It bounces in front of the net and never did get through to Ryan Miller. And the Canucks are able to clear it down the ice. Toronto with 20 power play goals, 16 of them from the number 1 unit that is on the ice right now with Bozak, Kessel, and Van Riemsdyk. Dion Phaneuf and now Nazem Kadri has joined this group. Kadri gets the puck inside the line. Van Riemsdyk taken away by Nick Bonino. And he and Alex Burrows send the puck the distance. Burrows will be the lone forechecker here as Jonathan Bernier plays the puck. Phaneuf forced to turn back and regroup. Slowly to center, dropping in behind him is Phil Kessel to take the puck. Nowhere to go. He passes off to Van Riemsdyk. He's got Bozak in front, tried to go there himself. And that short backhander was an easy save for Ryan Miller.
You know, so many teams use that drop back to a trailing player, and it puts a lot of onus on that player being able to make a move while everybody else is standing still. A nice support play by Van Riemsdyk, and he takes a nice hard route to the front of the net. Only got the backhand there, and Miller able to stop and get a whistle.
Second power play unit comes on. David Clarkson, Joffrey Lupul, Mike Santorelli. Jake Gardner back on the left point, Cody Franson on the right. Power play ranks 10th in the league. Vancouver's penalty killing 4th in the league on the road, where they are the best team at 11 and 4.
Like so often, the early power play is a little sluggish here for the Leafs. They haven't been able to get the setup or get any control of the puck.
Both of these teams are a threat to score shorthanded. The Canucks have 3 of them. The Leafs have the puck. Joffrey Lupul carries it in. Santorelli goes to the front of the net. The puck goes deep. And here's a chance for Ryan Stanton to clear the puck down the ice, and he got it to center. Here's Bo Horvat. Goes wide, takes the shot, and Bernier doesn't want to stop play. That's a smart thing on this power play, and he'll move it out quickly. Santorelli, the return pass, gets it from Clarkson. His shot was deflected just wide. Canuck got a stick on it. Lupul will hold the puck in along the boards. Little battle there with Derek Dorsett. Gardner on the other side. Morgan Rielly with a wrist shot, and it gets through to Ryan Miller, and he stops play with 5 seconds to go in the Bieksa penalty.
You know, confidence is such an amazing thing, and for Joffrey Lupul, his 5th game back after injury, he wants this puck. 3 goals in his last 3 games, trying to create something, get some open ice, and make some plays. And you traffic in front of the net. If you're going to beat Ryan Miller, you got to have bodies. Spiza does a nice job of boxing out and allowing his goaltender to see the puck.
Peter Holland comes on here with Richard Panik and David Booth. There's only 5 seconds to go before the teams are at 5-on-5 again. Dion Phaneuf will go back to collect the puck. The X is out. Toronto's 0 for 1 on the power play, and we're back to 5-on-5. Franson to center. Tipped in by a Canuck, so Miller will stop it behind the net. Yannick Weber is back for Vancouver. Up the boards, and Radim Vrbata starts out. His rink wide pass to Edler. He'll drop it off for Henrik Sedin. Vrbata goes to the front of the net. Yannick Weber takes the shot. Bernier the save, and the rebound was quickly cleared by Cody Franson. Sedins usually get the first shift after a penalty kill. And they do here, and Randy Carlyle starting a change against them to get Bozak's line up. Gardner is back.
Favorable defense pairing if I'm Willie Desjardins, though, having Holzer and Gardner out against the Sedins.
Both teams are making changes here as Gardner gets the puck in deep. Bozak. Van Riemsdyk was already looking for Kessel, so he didn't get the puck, and Kessel turned and shot. VX blocked that. Alex Burrows back. He's with Nick Bonino in the midst of a change. Daniel Sedin is still on, and now he just gets the puck to center and changes. Jake Gardner to Van Riemsdyk, and deep. Lucas Pisa had a look around as he got to the puck, and he's double teamed. And Bozak has come up with a puck for Toronto. Up the boards, Morgan Rielly had vacated that point, and he has to go back into his own zone to get the puck. Oops, Kessel fell down, and Morgan Rielly was right there to get the puck from him. Lupul missed it along the boards. Derek Dorsett with Bo Horvat and Yannick Hansen, a fourth line and a 2-on-1. Hansen, that's deflected away from the front of the net by Stefan Robidas. A good defensive play. Bo Horvat, number 53, works out front. A wraparound was stopped. Another shot, a one-handed backhand was blocked by Jonathan Bernier. And up with the puck comes Peter Holland, and he gets to center. This has become a pretty dependable fourth line for Vancouver, and you can see why. They don't get many goals, but they don't get scored upon. And so they get 8 to 10 minutes of ice time per game. Clarkson tried to hold the line, couldn't quite do it, offside against Toronto.
One of the real challenges against this Vancouver team is behind the goal line. They're so effective on the wraparound and cycling down low. Bo Horvat does a nice job of protecting the puck to the outside, tries the quick wraparound. Bernier, good positional save there.
You get on the ice with the Sedins, well, guess what you do if you're a defenseman? You jump in the rush, and there's Edler. He's jumping in the rush, leading the rush. And you mentioned it, if it's Holzer on the ice with Gardner, and you got the Sedins, even more of a reason for your D to jump. What a difference a year has made for Edler. Look, he's working the bench right there. He can work a milk carton. No, in a lot of ways, he's plus minus. It's a landslide of a difference. New coach, much better approach for him, and he's having the kind of year he had when we watched him in Sochi, guys.
He's back to look confident. Yeah. Back looking like he's one of the top defensemen in the Western Conference.
We could say that about a number of players on this Vancouver lineup.
They look like they like the game again.
You know, you think of what a difference a coach can make in the way you feel about your game.
They've been feeling good about Willie Desjardins and the way they're playing. It's a scoreless tie tonight, though, on Hockey Night in Canada.
Welcome back, guys. You were just talking about Willie Desjardins and the great job he's been doing. Well, he's connected as well to Steve Spott. Last year, Desjardins led the Texas Stars to a Calder Cup title. Along the way, he beat Steve Spott's Toronto Marlies. And let's remember back, 2010 World Juniors, Desjardins, the head coach, and of course, Spott was an assistant coach. Spott said he learned a lot about Desjardins. Great communicator, great with the players, good with the coaching staff. And Desjardins told me Spott is a surefire future head coach in the NHL. So strong words of encouragement there. Canada won silver that year, guys. Jim?
That was after 2009 when they last won gold under Pat Quinn. Canucks deep with the puck, and you can tell by the way they're playing here, the Sedins are on the ice. Cycle game is on. Henrik Sedin to Vrbata, got it back to the blue line. Lucas Pisa with a shot, and Jonathan Bernier makes the save. And this year we've seen far more of those kinds of shifts from the Sedins.
Yeah, and defensively, it's such an onus on you to have your head on a swivel to make sure you box guys out, because you get chasing one Sedin, they double back to the other. But this is good defensive zone coverage by the Toronto Maple Leafs. Look at Dion Phaneuf just staying on the inside. Kadri did a nice job of staying inside of Henrik Sedin, and that's the challenge of playing against that line in your own zone.
Nick Bonino to face off against Peter Holland. And the Leafs get the draw. Jake Gardiner has the puck. Didn't get it out. Good pinch there by Ryan Stanton against Lupul. And the Canuck defense likes to do that. Gardiner again. Another try to get out. Lupul checked it on the boards, and Stanton holds the puck in. Alex Burrows with a shot deflected by Gardiner up high and out of play.
Well, one of the reasons it's so difficult to play against the Sedins is they're creative off the draw. Watch this faceoff play, neutral zone. It's Bieksa that jumps through the middle and nearly gets a breakaway if you're not paying attention. Draw that one up on the board where the defenseman spots through the middle.
There's seldom a faceoff that the Sedins have where they don't have something going on.
And Willie Desjardins said it's amazing they make plays on their own, not even ones the coaches have drawn up.
Bo Horvat got the puck back. The Leafs trying to get out of their own zone again. This time they do get to center with some speed. Richard Panik drives wide against Stanton. Couldn't get to the net. David Booth on this line. Trevor Smith is the center for Toronto. Fourth line shift both teams. Stanton squeezes out former Canuck David Booth. Jannik Hansen came over to help up the boards. Derek Dorsett to Bo Horvat to the blue line and finally out. But Trevor Smith has the puck and the Leafs should get right back in again. Riley waited to get onside. Bounced one off Miller. To the blue line, not out. Morgan Riley tried to make a move and did get by Dorsett, but he lost the puck. Richard Panik, as the Leafs are winning this fourth line shift with control. Panik, cross-ice pass off the skate of Booth, who's yet to score as a Leaf. Horvat chases him into the corner. They cycle back, and in comes Stefan Robidas. Kicked loose, and the Canucks finally get possession again. Horvat from Rodney, Ontario, near London, gets to center, dumps the puck in, and both teams need a change.
Well, that shift won't scare Desjardins because that line with Horvat on it, they're a dependable line.
Here come the Sedins. A slap pass and a deflection just wide by Radim Vrbata, set up by Henrik. Henrik to Daniel. Verbata's in front alone, stopped by Bernier. His first and biggest save of this game. That's the fourth Canuck shot, but the first real tester for Jonathan Bernier, who wants to stop play here and does.
Well, the last shift against these two, you saw the good defensive effort by the Toronto Maple Leafs. Here's where they spread you out, though. Puck from behind the net, quick movement, backhand pass like you've seen, down low into the soft area. Two Toronto Maple Leaf defensemen, one behind the net, the other Dion Phaneuf in front, went after the same guy, and that left Vrbata wide open in the slot.
Well, he's got a sneaky stick because if you look at the reaction of Bernier, he thought that puck was going glove side. He's lucky that he dragged his back leg and it hit the right leg of him.
Canucks won another draw, and Bieksa got the shot, but the Leafs, Peter Holland gets through center against Nick Bonino, the center, back to help out the defense. Joffrey Lupul gets the puck. To the blue line, and Jake Gardiner, big crowd in front. He shoots, just missed the net. Had he hit the net, there was some daylight there with all those players in front. I don't think Miller would have seen it. Lucas Spiza. Chris Higgins to Bonino and out to center. As the pace of this game finally starts to pick up, Jake Gardiner is back. Holland, Lupul, David Clarkson together tonight. Randy Carlyle wants a little more offense from this line with Lupul instead of Winnick on it. And Winnick plays on a checking line. Sean Mathias got away from Lupul, and he gets in on the puck quickly. I don't think Lupul knew he was there. Brad Richardson. This line's been excellent for Vancouver. Chris Tanev just onside. His shot is blocked in some skates. The success of this Vancouver line has been mostly on the forecheck. Right now they've got to regroup. Lyndon Vay. Right on the stick of Richardson, and he's checked. Robidas trying to get outside the line. Can't quite do it. Vay kept the puck in. Sean Mathias to the net. Edler, backhander right on, and Jonathan Bernier made the save. Once again, the defenseman confidently jumping in.
Yeah, the defense are reading the play very aggressively, and a turnover at your own blue line create problems. The Leafs unable to get it out. Robidas battling twice, and then a heads-up play by Edler. Reads that he's got an opportunity, gets inside his Leaf check, and a backhand shot. Difficult to get much on it, and a good save by Bernier. Again, square to the shot.
Starting to see the depth of Vancouver, aren't you? Four lines that can score, D that are jumping. That didn't exist last year.
Horvat won the draw. Derek Dorsett. That's a Sedin play that this line has learned from off the face-off. The wingers switch off the draw, and the winger won the draw. Yannick Hansen turns back against Cody Franson. Off the boards, David Booth trying to get away from Stanton. Looked back as though he thought there should have been a penalty. Trevor Smith stops up. Booth wants the puck to the blue line. Franson shoots. Miller made the save, although I don't think he saw it. And in front of the net, there's going to be a penalty as Panik is tripped. And it'll be another power play for the Toronto Maple Leafs, their second of the game. Ryan Stanton is headed to the penalty box, and there's a look at it. Power play for the Maple Leafs coming up in a scoreless game on Hockey Night in Canada. Fourth line players don't always get to play against the top defensive pairs, so when they do, Glenn.
Well, you'd have a little bit of passion, and here's Dorsett. That's a slash right in front of the referee. That's a penalty. That hurts. Dorsett knows it, so he challenges Phaneuf. No challenge match. The play goes up the ice. Now the Leafs are on a power play with a penalty that happened right in front of the referee that they seem to catch. Missed one, got one.
Stanton goes off. Toronto's second power play. Nazem Kadri, after they won the draw, they're set up. Phil Kessel. Van Riemsdyk's at the net. Now he has to go to the boards and try and get the puck back from Alex Edler, who lost his stick. Up the boards, Kadri to Phaneuf. Van Riemsdyk screening, and that hard shot up high went just wide. Kadri for Van Riemsdyk, battling with Edler. Tanev, the other defenseman for Vancouver, comes in to help. Canucks with a tight four-man box in the corner with pressure, and the puck comes back to Dion Phaneuf. Nazem Kadri. Phaneuf looking for Kessel, passes back to Kadri. He'll walk in and shoot, and he missed the net from an angle. Phaneuf races over and just holds the line. Kessel on his off wing where he likes to set up in the power play. Bozak right in front off the skates of Kadri. Van Riemsdyk couldn't get the puck, but he got it to Dion Phaneuf. Here's Kessel. Van Riemsdyk still down on the ice, tangled up. And the Canucks get the puck out to center. Edler to Henrik Sedin, and he'll play the puck back to Daniel. They're out on a penalty kill earlier than they usually are. They usually get them about the last 20 seconds.
I think with already the second power play for the Leafs, Willie Desjardins wanted his top guys to get into the game. And defensive zone face-off started with both of them. That's not something you typically have seen during the course of the Sedin's career.
Not from this coach, anyway.
No, not at all.
Cody Franson. Last 30 seconds of this Leaf power play. They've had good possession in the attacking zone. Mike Santorelli knocked away by Luca Spiza. And Brad Richardson sends the puck down the ice, changes, and the Leafs regroup. Jake Gardner. No! Santorelli couldn't take the pass. Chris Tanev turns after the puck. 3 Leafs, and they come up with it, but there was nobody in front for that Lupul pass. And out comes Stanton to join a 3-on-2. Alex Burrows for Nick Bonino. Good stick. Oh, just about a stick that knocked the puck into his own net there by Jake Gardner. After Franson had made a good play to break up the rush. So back to 5-on-5 here with over 7 minutes to go in the first. Santorelli, Winnick, and Lupul. Get the puck in. Start the change. Winnick won the battle for the puck to Stefan Robida. On the other side to Morgan Riley, and his shot goes just wide of the net. The other side, Robida's shot rattled off some legs and went to Bo Horvat. And the 19-year-old rookie got the puck to center and no further. Peter Holland takes over. Now Morgan Riley. Tip in by Winnick. Stanton's the first man back. Flushed out quickly by Holland. But he made the pass to Horvat. It was in good position. Derek Dorsett bounces the puck off the boards, gets it, shoots it, and missed the net. Lyndon Vey raced into the play and takes over for Vancouver. He's got Dorsett in front, and he tipped it just wide. Backhander off the back of the net. As Dorsett works hard to get the puck in front for Bo Horvat. And the Leafs win that battle behind their net, and out they start. David Booth to center against Chris Tanev. Edler came over, pushed down by Booth, and now they'll go after it. Up the boards, Korbinian Holzer held the puck in. Mike Santorelli. Booth is parked at the top of the crease. Peter Holland takes over for Toronto. Cycles back in, and Santorelli turns away from Brad Richardson. Turns again. A cross-ice pass to Holzer at the blue line. And the big German defenseman just put the puck in on the boards. Matthias won a battle on the boards to get the puck out to center. As Kadri has come on, both teams changing. Holzer left the puck behind. The Canucks pounce on it. Richardson in front for Daniel Sedin, knocked away by Jake Gardner with a good stick. Now Gardner chased by Daniel Sedin. Bounces the puck off the glass. Van Riemsdyk couldn't catch up to it. Kevin Bieksa does. To Daniel Sedin. A little tip to Radim Vrbata. And he'll dump the puck in, and the Sedins will go after it. Branson and Phaneuf got on against the Sedins. Puck's held in. Speeds it to Daniel. And broken up again by Cody Franson. It's easily the best hockey Cody Franson has played since he's been elite. There's a hot shot by Van Riemsdyk, stopped by Ryan Miller. Another shot, loose in front. Poking away was Van Riemsdyk. He's battling Bieksa, and the puck's knocked away to the corner. Out starts Radim Vrbata. 4-on-2. The Canucks in over the blue line. The trailer, Henrik Sedin, speeds it to the front of the net, into the skates. Henrik Sedin feeds the puck in front again. Lucas Spiza with a shot. Bounces on a deflection, and Bernier scoops it up as the pace of this game finally picks up to the pace we expected. 4.5 minutes to go in a scoreless first on Hockey Night in Canada from Toronto. Some scoring chances at both ends. That's a little more of what we expected tonight.
Absolutely. The second best team in the NHL at scoring. They get a number of chances here. It's the Leafs. Ryan Miller up to the task. So let's cue the sixth best team at scoring in the NHL. Spiza pass, a little too hot for Henrik. Otherwise, that's in the back of the net. A tap in. And for the Leafs, let's go 200 feet away. Second best team in the NHL scoring this pass. Just a little bit too hot for Kadri. Otherwise, that's a 6x4. So we get some action now at both ends. Vancouver loves to come up the ice with numbers. That's a 4-on-2 because of their D jumping. That's about 4 times this period that they've activated that defense.
Nick Bonino against Holland, who gets thrown out. David Clarkson on the debating team.
And the debate rages, doesn't it? Keep going.
Bonino won the draw while Clarkson was debating. Alex Burrows. Bonino with Chris Higgins in front of the net. Good job by Peter Holland to stop that cycle, and he gets the puck. Jake Gardner, defenseman, up on the play. Takes the shot, the rebound, they steal! Leafs are perfect when they score the first goal, and they've got it tonight. 1-0 Toronto.
Now, look, for a while like this might not even happen. You got to be worried when you get kicked out, as Holland did, that Clarkson doesn't take a penalty getting kicked out himself. Instead, you lose the draw. A heads-up play by Gardner, though. It looks like he's going to hit the trailer. Instead, he goes hard to the net. 2 bodies in front. Lupul did a nice job stopping in front and being a problem for Miller. But on the doorstep, a combination of Weber whacking it and right through the legs as Winnick gets it.
.47 of the first period, the time of the first goal. So Toronto 10-0 when they score the first goal of the game. And they have the first one here against Ryan Miller.
And Holland, not taking the draw, was able to join the play from the winger spot, and he ends up putting it in the back of the net.
He actually had a chance to pick it up in the neutral zone and just kept skating.
As an aside, when the goal was scored, the first person David Clarkson looked at was the linesman. Peter Holland gets the goal. Wasn't sure if it was going to be an own goal off Yannick Weber, but it is Holland given credit for it.
Looks like Weber helped it a bit, though, didn't he?
David Booth. Richard Panik can't control the puck. Again, backhand scores! Scored the first goal. They play with confidence, and the Leafs' fourth line gets a big goal. Panik makes it 2-0.
And here's the difference for Randy Carlyle's team. He's got the depth. He's got bodies that he believes in. coming off a goal. A lot of times you go back with that top line. Instead, the fourth line wins the puck battle down low. A good pass by Booth. Another great pass in front and forehand backhand. You can see took Miller right out of his crease.
Oh, Miller bites on this one in a big way. Zamboni door's open. He's out the Zamboni door. What a great play.
45 seconds apart and a 2-0 lead, and here come the Sedins. Daniel checked from behind by Cody Franson, pushed into the boards, and Franson tried to clear the puck. Alex Edler, Chris Tanev along the boards, Henrik to Daniel. Kadri trying to break up this cycle. Radim Vrbata comes in for Daniel Sedin. Phaneuf comes at him. Henrik Sedin trying to get away from Nazem Kadri, who slapped his stick. Now bulldogs him. And the play is stopped because of a hand pass. No penalty behind the net.
Well, Willie Desjardins getting scored on twice, comes back with his top line, and here's the backhand pass that you always have to be worried of. Henrik to Daniel, but Franson, who stood up on the line, did an excellent job coming back. This Leaf team coming and rallying, getting those first goals. You said how successful. There's on the doorstep, Peter Holland, and right after, very next shift, Richard Panik showing great patience in front of Brian Miller.
So Holland from Gardner at 15:47, Panik from Smith and Booth at 16:32. And the Sedins look pretty urgent in that shift right after the second goal.
Here's the key, get 3. Because the Vancouver Canucks play tomorrow night in Ottawa. And you know they'll be thinking about that one, knowing that they're not going to get anything in this one.
Lyndon Vay, Sean Mathias, and Brad Richardson work the boards here against the top line for Toronto. Richardson against Gardner. Gardner takes the man. Lyndon Vay comes in for the puck. He's up against Bozak. Twisting and turning Vay to Richardson. A nice save by Bernier. Vay again to his forehand. Richardson with a back pass intercepted by Bozak. Kessel couldn't get the puck up, but he got a lucky break and a bounce. Chris Tanev didn't get a break as he tried to set up Edler, and the puck goes the distance, and that tired line has to stay on after an icing call against Vancouver. It's the last call for Republic of Doyle, and Jake's life is on the line. Don't miss the shocking 2-hour series finale at a special time this Wednesday at 8 on CBC. So Richardson's line had a pretty good shift, but they've been on for a while, and they have to stay on here after the icing call. Peter Holland comes on with Clarkson and Lupul, line that scored the first goal. Riley held the puck in. Joffrey Lupul to David Clarkson up against Chris Tanev. Tanev got the puck, moves it up the boards, and the Canucks get out to center. The shoot in by Edler. Higgins, Burrows, Bonino coming after it, and they hold the puck in. Bonino's shot, Bernier with a nice save. Burrows pounced on the puck, made a nice little play to Higgins. Back to the blue line, Kevin Bieksa with a shot off a skate. Higgins beats Clarkson to the puck. Spiza pinching. Leafs get possession. Out to center, it's an aerial, and Lupul can't handle it. This will go for icing against Toronto, with 1:05 left to go in a period that has really started to go.
Well, the one thing you don't want to do late, the last 2 minutes of a period, turn the puck over again. Clarkson has some time and space. Instead of skating, tries a pass. Puck's turned over, but Bernier bails him out with a good, solid save.
Well, that's the worst of times, so why don't we look at the best of times? You see the turnover, but here, Clarkson makes up for it. Good battle on the wall. You got to make sure you win that puck battle. He wins the physical battle, and the Leafs do get it out. Now they've got a battle with an icing. With 1:05 left to go.
And David Clarkson gets a penalty for roughing on that play, so Vancouver gets a late first period power play. And they'll send their top unit out with Henrik and Daniel Sedin, Radim Vrbata, and Lyndon Vay, and they win the draw, and Alex Edler at the left point. Daniel Sedin with a quick pass. There's the shot from Vrbata, and Bernier forced to make a save.
Now, this is a power play that's been in sync, 4 for 9 their last 3 games, and they always off the face-off, a real sense of purpose, a little backhand pass by Daniel, quick one-touch pass, and trying to get pucks to the net with traffic in front, but Bernier able to slide out and see that one easily.
16 of Vancouver's 17 power play goals have come from this first unit. Lyndon Bay was off it for a while. Now he's back on it. And it's clicked pretty well on this road trip with 4 goals in the last 3 games. Alex Edler leads the way to center. Drops the puck back. Henrik Sedin to the blue line. Verbata. Back for Henrik. Here's Verbata. For Henrik, he'll let it go. Or missed it. But Edler kept it in. Henrik. Now Daniel takes the shot that went off the boot of Lyndon Bay. Daniel Sedin. Henrik. Verbata takes the shot and missed short side, although it sounded like it went off a stick. Henrik to Daniel to Edler. Verbata. Edler fires a shot that's blocked. Henrik gets the puck back in front. Daniel missed the net. Verbata. Running out of time. They need a buzzer beater here, but they're held to the boards and won't get a shot. Pretty good looking power play, but it'll have to start the second period with 55 seconds left of the Clarkson penalty. Coming up in our first intermission, it's Don Cherry, Ron McLean, and Coach's Corner. 2 goals for Toronto. Peter Holland, Richard Panik, and a 2-0 lead on Hockey Night in Canada.
All right, second period coming up, but we have a special guest, Connor McDavid, in attendance. How'd you get to the game tonight, Connor?
Yeah, it's just I knew I was going to be home, so I just asked Bobby Orr if he could, arrange for me to get some tickets. And he's a great guy, and he's very good to me, and he's able to get a couple tickets for me.
It's good to know friends in high places. Now, what about you playing here for the World Juniors? How's the hand healing? Is there a prospect of you making time to get back for the World Juniors?
Yeah. I have another doctor's appointment on Tuesday, and the cast is expected to come off. So I'll be able to, resume shooting and all that, and take some hits. So everything's on pace that I should be good to go.
Finally, Connor, as the puck drops and we're getting set for the second period, I'm going to send it back up to Jim, and hopefully we can get back with you in just 1 sec, okay?
That's good news for Canada. Connor McDavid, 51 points in 18 games. He's fallen to second in the OHL scoring race, but I think he's still got a chance of winning it. Vancouver starts this period on a power play, but shorthanded. Here comes Peter Holland, drags the puck in, and he shot it just wide. Had a goal taken away from him because they gave that first goal to Jake Gardner. Knocked in by Yannick Weber, but Peter just about got his back right there. Shorthanded, where Toronto has scored 5 times. Lyndon Bay to Daniel Sedin in this power play. The drop back to the point. Alexander Edler on the other side of the reach of Henrik Sedin. Now he's got a hold of the puck to Daniel. Henrik, other side to Radim Verbata to his forehand. Edler shoots up high. Bernier made the save, and the puck came off his shoulder to the corner. Nice little play by Winnick to Holland with David Clarkson. 2-on-1. Back checking is Lyndon Bay, and he caught up and got the puck. There's Clarkson now, squeezed against the boards by Alex Edler. 5-on-5 again. Holland out of the corner, backhand pass. Tyler Bozak couldn't get a hold of it. Now he does as he skates to the boards to get it. Holland centering pass out of the reach of the defenseman Corbinian Holzer, who jumped in. David Clarkson, watched by Bay and Verbata. Kevin Bieksa takes over for the Canucks, and they'll bounce the puck out to center. Daniel Sedin late in the shift. Wants a change. Jake Gardner has his second goal of the season. That's now officially the first goal of the game, unassisted. Luca Spiza back for the puck for Vancouver. Chris Higgins on the left wing. Burrows heads for the net. There's the shot, intended for a shot and a rebound. Kicked away by Bernier. Quickly back out the other way. Kessel had to stop to get the puck. Couldn't feed it through to defenseman Jake Gardner. Stefan Robidas back pedals off the stick of Nick Bonino. Jake Gardner rink wide. Here's Phil Kessel. Tried to set up Van Riemsdyk, stolen away by Lucas Spiza. Chris Tanev's pass intercepted, and Van Riemsdyk puts the puck deep again for Toronto. Canucks will have some time here as the Leafs change. Spiza. Derek Dorset starts a 4th line shift for the Canucks with Bo Horvat, Jannik Hansen, Morgan Riley, Daniel Winnick out of his reach. Nazem Kadri chases after the puck, and Edler, he fell and hit the boards hard. And he's slow to get up. Here's Morgan Riley moving in. He shoots. That's blocked. And the Canucks will take off with numbers, but Horvat didn't have a stick. Jannik Hansen drops the puck off. Richardson off the bench. Derek Dorset behind the goal. Centering pass went off a skate. A frantic pace to start the second period. And a 2-0 Toronto lead as Cody Franson, who's had a terrific game so far, tried to clear the puck, couldn't get it out. Weber keeps it in with a shot. Now he chases the puck behind the net and threw it out front into a crowd. Knocked away, and Daniel Winnick comes up with a puck. Sends it down the ice, and Lyndon Vey is back to collect it. And it's just enough for an icing call. All right, now we can go back to join David and Connor McDavid.
All right, thanks, guy. You've been waiting patiently. You've been signing autographs. Listen, you work out with Steven Stamkos. You've talked to Sidney Crosby, your agents, Bobby Orr. What have those guys told you about what the process is going to be like for you over the next few months leading up to the draft?
Yeah, they all have, kind of different stories, and, they're all very good stories. I mean, being around those guys, kind of like a sponge, you just got to soak it all up. So, I've been pretty lucky to be around guys like that.
All right, best of luck, Connor.
Thanks a lot.
All right, hope to see him at the World Juniors. All right, Jim, back to you.
Henrik Sedin just won a draw, and Ryan Stanton put a shot off a skate. Yannick Weber pinched down, didn't get the puck, and the Leafs are out 3-on-2. Nazem Kadri with Winnick and Santorelli. There's Phaneuf's shot, stopped, rebound, sent wide by Winnick with Miller down and out. That's a big opportunity missed for Toronto right there.
A little bit of a bouncing puck there, hard to keep it down.
There's Henrik straight up the middle. Bravada falls in behind. Henrik to the net. Bernier got a piece of that and sent it to the corner. Back the other way, David Clarkson stopped in the neutral zone by Lucas Pisa. Joffrey Lupul to Dion Phaneuf, who jumps up. Clarkson off the wing, snaps a shot, an easy save for Miller. Knocked down by Burrows, couldn't clear the puck. Holland with a shot, he scores! They took one away from him in the first period. They won't take that away. Peter Holland, 3-0 Toronto.
Never a bad play to put the puck in the net. And David Clarkson going one-on-one just inside the line. Gets a high shot that Miller tries to get away from traffic. Burrows can't control it. And right through the screen of Kevin Bieksa. Glenn, I'm sure you had a perfect vantage point. An absolute rocket up and over the glove.
All about placing the puck where you want to place it. Holland knew where he wanted to put it before he shot it. Perfectly placed. Head up. Miller doesn't track it. Not going to stop what you don't see.
And the ascension of Peter Holland up the Toronto lineup continues as he gets more and more ice time from Randy Carlyle.
He gets good competition within the lines.
They took that first period goal away from him because it was knocked in by Yannick Weber, but he gets this one and makes it 3-0.
Last year at this time, the Leafs were a one-trick pony, one-line team. Talk about Vancouver's depth, how about Toronto's depth? 4 lines that can hurt you and score.
And they got one from a 4th line, one from a 3rd line.
Not just depth, but competition. Competition within the lines is guys pushing each other to get that more ice time. When Holland didn't play much, that was Nazem Kadri who was able to take advantage of it, and now another chance. One thing that when you have a turnover right in your slot for the goaltender, Glenn, I'm sure you can attest to, you're not quite prepared to come out and challenge as much. There's the rebound that Miller thinks he's all set. He gets back in his net, he gets very small, and a perfect shot was made.
Well, that's a sloppy play, and there's been a couple sloppy plays. This is an odd fall, and I think Edler just lost his wind. He went back to the bench. He was okay. He got back out, and it was right moments after that that Weber missed a really good chance in front of the net with some sloppy Leaf play.
Behind 3-0, it's not like the Canucks haven't had any chances, but the Leafs have buried theirs and have a 3-0 lead. Chris Higgins works along the boards. Morgan Riley takes over for Toronto. Riley from North Vancouver up the boards. Clarkson whacks the puck down the ice, and no icing call as Yannick Weber gets back. Clarkson to Hall in the hard centering pass. Lupul scores! Open the floodgates now. Joffrey Lupul gets Eddie Laca, and it's 4-0 Leafs.
If you look at the history of this Vancouver Canucks team, when they lose in a big way, and that's going to be the end of Miller's night. He's given up 18 goals in his 4 losses this season, and now another 4 goals in just a period and 5 minutes. A shake of the head. No goaltender has won more games against the Toronto Maple Leafs than Ryan Miller's 32, but tonight was not his night. And how about Joffrey Lupul? I mentioned the fact that his confidence is growing. Watch his patience in the crease here. It's a pass that he can't one time, but he settles himself, gets his back foot planted, and another perfect shot through the legs of Spiza, off the post and in.
You talk about the Leafs, you're right, Simmer. They've 13 times the margin of defeat has been 3 goals or more, or winning 3 goals or more. 8 times they've won by 3, 5 times they've lost by 3. Tonight looks like it's going to be 9 where they win by 3.
How about that pass by Peter Holland? Talk about playing with confidence. That was a dart that Lupul had to settle down and shoot into the net.
There's that internal competition. It's not the top line that's getting you here in this game. It's the middle of the road. They're playing some solid hockey.
And here they come again. Trevor Smith as the fourth line gets out again.
You never think I would say this, that Santorelli has more points in the month of December than any other player in the NHL. Tied with Tyler Johnson. That's depth.
And now with a 4-0 Toronto lead, Vancouver will be shorthanded again as Derek Dorsett will go off for a hit on Richard Panik. Well, it's Horvat that will get the penalty. Dorsett went down with Panik. Lots of action as usual on a Saturday night. Time for the Budweiser Red Light Scoreboard. Big win for Pittsburgh over Ottawa today. Tough loss for the Senators. They've now lost 5 in a row. St. Louis came back with Marty Brodeur getting the victory to beat the New York Islanders, and the Rangers have a goal from Rick Nash, his 17th, as they have a lead in Detroit tonight. Here it's 4-0. The Toronto Maple Leafs leading the Vancouver Canucks. Lupul, Holland, Panik, Gardner. And Peter Holland and Joffrey Lupul together look pretty good. That's a good call by Randy Carlyle putting that group together tonight. Power play starts for Toronto, trying to make it 5. Van Riemsdyk, Bozak, Kessel up front. Dion put up and Nazem Kadri at the points. Kadri with some room, forced to his backhand by Chris Higgins. Lupul to Kessel, fired a slap shot in front, kicked away by Eddie Lack, who's now in goal for the Vancouver Canucks. Miller out, 4 goals on 14 shots.
That was a lot more confident puck movement by this power play that really hasn't been able to generate much in this game, but good puck movement with a real purpose and a quick chance at the net.
And Riemsdyk deep for Dion Phaneuf. Bozak. Van Riemsdyk lets the puck go. Sean Mathias will come over. I think he thought Tanev was going to go get it. Still they get it out. Jannik Hansen has speed, trying to stay with him as a forward. Kadri to Mathias, and he couldn't handle the pass. Too far in front of him. That was a great opportunity for Vancouver with Kadri back. Here's Phil Kessel with some speed into the attacking zone. Puts the puck deep, trying to get it to Bozak. Luca Spiza. The outlet to Sean Mathias. He'll crisscross with Jannik Hansen. Watched by Jake Gardner, but does a good job of killing some time in the Bo Horvat penalty. Kevin Bieksa, watched by Joffrey Lupul. He'll turn and go, shorthanded. Straight up the middle. Bieksa stopped by Jonathan Bernier. Well, rushed by defenseman Kevin Bieksa, shorthanded. I'm sure he looked up and couldn't believe the sea had parted. Henrik to Daniel Sedin. Henrik jumping in front. Ryan Stanton missed it. Daniel Sedin. The penalties coming up here against the Maple Leafs. And with 5 seconds left in the Horvat penalty, there'll be a Leaf penalty and a Canuck power play coming up.
Yeah, see a little concern on the face of Randy Carlyle. You let up for a few seconds as Bieksa head up the entire way, saw he had the opportunity, got aggressive through the middle, and a great save by Bernier. But this one, bad inside position. Stanton gets there, and there's the hook on the hands that brought the arm up.
Back-to-back offensive chances by the defense for Vancouver. And, you know, from Bernier's standpoint, you're right, Simmer, that's a great save. You don't expect to see a breakaway with a 1-on-4, but he had good position. He was outside the blue paint. He made it look easy.
Horvat set to come back on in Vancouver to the power play, trailing 4-0. Still a long ways to go in this game. 11 and a half minutes to go in the second period. Now Vancouver's on the power play. And Chris Higgins is in after the puck. Yannick Weber got a great shot. Alex Burrows takes over. Bonino's in the slot. There's the shot off Bernier and into the netting.
I've got a good seat for this one, and when the next one comes into the National Hockey League, and that will be Connor McDavid. He's one of the greatest phenoms since Sidney Crosby. A signed sweater tonight, silent auction. Minimum bid for this thing, $400. That's how great this player is going to be, because if you look at a signed Beliveau and Johnny Barr, both in the Hall of Fame, their print signed $250. Okay, kid hasn't played a game yet, and we're at $400 for him for a sweater that's not even an NHL one, not even real.
Where's that going to go? Here's Kevin Bieksa with a shot just wide of the net, a bouncing puck side of the goal. Bonino, Chris Higgins, Burrows, Bonino. They look like the Sedins. Here's Bieksa, Yannick Weber turns and shoots. That's blocked. The rebound. Bonino shoots it, and Bernier makes the save. They get moving the puck around. Vancouver is one of the best passing teams in the league, and I'm sure they're influenced by the Twins.
And when you look at the defensive pairing that Randy Carlyle puts out, a little inexperience there. Holzer, though, does a nice job of getting in front of Higgins there. He knows, tries to block the first one, gets down on the second, and then come back to protect your goaltender as Bernier able to hold on.
Now the number one power play comes out with Sedin, Verbata, Lyndon Bay, and Alex Edler. Tyler Bozak does most of the heavy lifting in the face-off circle in his own end, and he's good at it. He won that one. And now he's straight up the middle. There's a short-handed pass, but it long ways in the air for Bozak to knock down. Alexander Edler. Watched by Peter Holland. The drop back to Henrik Sedin. Daniel. Along the boards to Henrik. Around the boards for Lyndon Vay. Radim Verbata. Henrik to Verbata. Daniel. Edler faked the shot, passes off to Henrik. Edler back to Henrik. Vay's parked in front. Daniel with the attempt to tip. Verbata with a shot. Bernier stopped that. They'll battle for the puck, and the Canucks get it back. Edler. Henrik Sedin. Daniel in the slot. There's the pass. It's returned. Henrik. Alex Edler. Back to Henrik. Cross ice. Verbata. Edler shoots into the glove of Jonathan Bernier. Revisit the best moments of the past 22 years during a special anniversary edition of 22 Minutes. Join current and former cast members as well as memorable guests. For This Hour Has 22 Years, Tuesday night at 8.
Well, with his 21st save of the night, Jonathan Bernier is really on top of his game. Great positional save, calmly grabs that one, stares the traffic down in front of him, and he seems dialed in this game.
This has not been a 4-0 Leaf game. He has been a big part of it.
And the Canucks haven't packed it in quite yet. By the looks of that power play. David Clarkson takes the shot, steered aside by Eddie Lack, who's coming off a shutout, a 3-0 win in Pittsburgh, and he steered the puck out of play. Jonathan Bernier, in his 8th consecutive start, has had some great saves. We'll show you some in a sec. Jonathan Bernier visit the best moments of the past 22 years during a special anniversary edition of 22 Minutes. Join current and former cast members on This Hour Has 22 Years, Tuesday night at 8 on CBC. Big bounce back night for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Vancouver hasn't been real bad, but some opportunistic goals by the Leafs. Is this one done yet?
No, it's not done yet. You know that there's a lot more can happen, but I think for Randy Carlyle, a real important game for his team to come back after a subpar night to keep a good string of hockey going, and they've rallied to the occasion.
4-on-3 power play for Vancouver. As Gardner went off, Daniel Sedin, Verbata, Yannick Weber, Henrik Sedin. Daniel along the boards. Verbata now goes to the front of the net. Henrik Weber, one-timer. Bernier's got it.
Well, it was clear the look was to the right-handed Weber, who does have a good bomb, but timing in front is so important to have a screen. Either force the goaltender to not follow the pass across or not see the shot. And in this instance, it was neither. He saw the puck perfectly on the pass and nobody in front on the shot.
Winnick, Phaneuf, and Franson out here for Toronto, and off the draw, Daniel Winnick got a hold of the puck and cleared it. What a great ad he's been for Toronto. As a good defensive forward, and especially as a penalty killer, he gets as many minutes as anybody in the league killing penalties. Henrik Sedin attacks him. Radim Vrbata, and Winnick attacked him and knocked him outside the blue line. Daniel Sedin. Henrik back to Daniel, to Henrik. Onto his backhand so he couldn't get a shot. Daniel. Henrik. Weber doesn't take the one-timer. Daniel will look past, or Henrik will. Daniels at the side of the net. Vrbata on the back door. Henrik. Weber, one-timer, blocked by Winnick. Weber again with a shot, and that was blocked by Dion Phaneuf. Vrbata bounces the puck in along the boards. Cody Franson gets it to center. Here's Vrbata. Henrik Sedin. Daniel Sedin shoots, rebound, scores! Just as one of the penalties had expired and it got back to 4-on-4, Daniel Sedin got his own rebound. It's a 4-1 game.
Well, at times you have to think which Sedin you have. Is it going to be the passer or the shooter? It ends up being the shooter. But how about Daniel Winnick doing an excellent job of sacrificing his body? Bernier was blocked by his own defenseman, but he never even had to make the save. A little bit of bad luck here. The rebound there for a split second, a heads-up play by Daniel Sedin off the shin pad of Phaneuf and in the back of the net.
Well, it's a tough play for Phaneuf. It's a tough play for Franson because there's two defensemen in the box for Toronto. They basically had to play that entire sequence, and you could see towards the end of it, not much gas in the tank.
So Vancouver gets a little life from that. I was thinking if they don't score on a 4-on-3 power play, that might be Curtis for the night. They didn't get the power play goal because the penalty had just expired, but in fact, it really was a power play goal.
You know, one of the few times where Bernier not able to control that in-close rebound. Phaneuf trying to play the percentage to take away the pass to Vrbata, who was a right-handed shot that would have had an easy tap-in, ends up with some bad luck going off in the net.
Still a dozen seconds in the penalty to Gardner, so Vancouver's on a power play 5-on-4 here. A cross-ice pass. Kevin Bieksa held the puck in. Alex Burrows looks past. Now he hangs on. Gardner's back on. Here's Chris Higgins, side of the net. Checked by Corbinian Holzer. Van Riemsdyk got the puck to center. Jake Gardner dumped it in. Kevin Bieksa back for the puck. Alex Ever under pressure from Joffrey Lupul, got away from him. And up the boards, Burrows didn't touch that. It goes the distance, wouldn't have mattered anyway. Still icing against Vancouver.
Break the ice with Icebreakers, official mint of the NHL.
Well, more of the same, guys, and it is this time the dance partners are Clarkson and Burrows. See the play at the wall, a little bit of a hit, and then both players seem to want to get engaged. Clarkson not happy clearly with the snow shower, so he lets him know. That's what they call intimidation, Simmer. That's what happened when you used to play Western Michigan as the Michigan State Spartan. That's the way it went.
Probably gave you a few snow showers, I'm sure.
No Toronto penalty coming up here. Vancouver will get another power play.
Well, if you didn't like calls before, Robitaille is looking on. Was this a little late, a little rough, a little arm up? Sean Matthias is a real handful. And when he gets going north and south, oh, there's the elbow up right on the button.
Forearm shiver.
No question about the call there. Matthias stopping up. And what an opportunity for Vancouver to get right back into this game.
Well, they get a power play goal here. Listen to this. I think his stick hit the boards, his elbow hit the face, but you know what we meant.
Let's see the urgency of this power play here. Right off the draw, communication again between the Sedins and Vrbata.
They played a lot in the last few minutes. They're right back on. Big face-off win for Tyler Bozak. He's with Winnick. One of the best penalty killers, Leo Komarov, is not in the lineup for Toronto tonight. Henrik Sedin heads for the attacking zone. Verbata advances the puck. Phaneuf stepped in. Got some help from Holland. He couldn't clear it. Alex Edler. Now they're set up. Henrik Sedin. Daniel in the high slot. Vey at the net. The pass comes across. Verbata's shot off Cody Franson. Vey. Henrik. Vey intercepted in front of Daniel. Henrik to Alex Edler. Into the middle of the ice. His pass slid by Daniel. Sedin. Lyndon Vey hustled over to get the puck. Henrik. When it comes straight at him. Alex Edler comes over for the puck. Here's Verbata moving in. Cross ice. Henrik Sedin bobbled the puck. Daniels in the slot again. Vey at the net. Edler. Verbata, one-timer, and a great save by Bernier because he got across in plenty of time.
You know, efficient puck moving again by the power play, but I would argue so much passing to the outside, side to side, but watch the front of the net. For Bernier, he's got his eyes on the puck. He's able to watch passes across, no bodies in front once again. Verbata with the one-time, and then that last one. Vey is down low, but he's way over to the side, and an easy save made by Jonathan Bernier.
Tyler Bozak 12-5 on the draw, but he lost that one to Nick Bonino as the second power play unit comes on. Bonino snapped the shot, and Bernier found that, and there was traffic in front that time, and it was Alex Burrows.
Glenn, you like body language of goaltenders, and right now there was traffic that time, but Bernier's on top of his game right now.
Yeah, he looks to his right, gets a good look at the puck, knows it's not coming there, so it's immediate to make your motion to the left. It's an easy glove save. You'd rather have the puck towards your glove side. You can reach up and down the entire 4 feet of the net, from the ice to the top of the crossbar, and grab it.
Winnick won the draw, but the Canucks kept the puck in. Yannick Weber with Kevin Bieksa on the points. Higgins, Bonino, Burrows up front. Nick Bonino has the puck. Alex Burrows gives him it back. Tip right in front, and a great save by Bernier on Chris Higgins. Higgins tracked down the puck, and it went off James Van Riemsdyk and bounces to center. Kevin Bieksa fires the puck back in. Along the boards, Burrows and Higgins are there for Vancouver. Bounce it back to Yannick Weber. He'll walk the line, passes off. Nick Bonino cross ice, that's blocked. Here's Weber. Down along the boards. And the puck just came out over the line. There's a break for Toronto, a bad one for Vancouver, an offside call.
Well, Simmer, you talk about being able to track a puck through screens. That shows a goalie is dialed in. Here's another example of a goalie that's dialed in. The ability to make saves off of redirects. Notice how deep he is. It gives him a 35-foot look at that puck and the redirect, and he just makes it look easy.
And that's all about the pre-scout, too. And that's a good job of penalty killing, knowing what the Canucks like to do, that type of play.
Alex Edler with a backhander at the net. There's a rebound in front. Bo Horvat just missed putting it in. There's another set play off the faceoff that had a defenseman busting right through the middle of the net.
I don't think Bernier had any idea where that puck was either. That one just went by him.
There's Yannick Hansen, works out front, can't get the shot away. He was checked by Tyler Bozak, who might have saved a goal. Hansen trying to get loose again. 5-on-5, last minute of the second period. Alex Edler feeds the puck back in. Frantic action in the Toronto zone as Horvat battles Holzer. Dorsett comes in and gets the puck. Centering pass knocked away by Bernier. Swatted out by Stefan Robida. And after all this penalty killing, I'm sure Toronto would just like to get to this intermission at 4-1, but now they've got an icing call and they're back in their own zone.
And Dorsett going after Robida after he made that big hit on Matthias. So often we've shown Bernier under control, tracking the puck well, and this is just a shot that hits him in the stick, doesn't know where it is for a split second. It's in the air as Horvat came and went up and over the net. And then Yannick Hansen just has such good speed. He keeps his legs moving. Look at that shuffle across in panic mode by Bernier, but he covers the net appropriately. Another big hit as Hansen knocks Robida in. That's where we have the icing.
Henrik Sedin hustled to the puck. Verbata's in the slot, almost a deflection and an own goal off Gardner. and the puck was kept out by Bernier. Close call there in the dying seconds of this period. Nazem Kadri gets the puck deep against Luka Spiza. Santorelli centering pass. In comes Cody Franson through the puck at the net, and Eddie Lack made a save. And the period comes to an end, and Toronto outscored Vancouver 2-1, but Vancouver outshot them 21-9 in the second period, but they're behind 4-1. Coming up in the second intermission is Elliot Friedman, Damian Cox, and our Saturday headlines. Then it's George with Nick and Kelly on Hockey Night in Canada on CBC. When a giant elf discovers that he's actually human, he embarks on a journey in search of his biological family. Will Ferrell stars in the holiday hit Elf tomorrow night at 8 on CBC. And while Mike Holmes continues to completely renovate the Air Canada Centre, we look back at this morning where the shooter tutor took Jonathan Bernier's spot.
And good thing that the shooter tutor did, because you know what? This guy didn't know he was going to be this busy, but he has been busy. 31 shots tonight. In fact, he's 4-2. When he faces 35 or more, he's definitely going to get that tonight, but he has been the story. 8 straight games. Miller starts, but no, it was not Miller time tonight. There's a perfect pour in the back, but it wasn't perfect in that for Miller time. Bernier, a lot different.
I think we're ready to go. Jonathan Bernier, Eddie Lack are the goaltenders, the Sedins. We'll start for Vancouver as the third period gets underway. And the Sedins have Derek Dorsett out with them to start this third period and dump the puck in. Dion Phaneuf is back. Dorsett gets to the puck. Maybe he's going to try and soften up this Toronto defensive pair for Daniel and Henry. Mike Santorelli got the puck and starts out with Daniel Winnick to Nazem Kadri. 3-on-3. Kadri holds up and shoots off a stick. Blocked backhander. Eddie Lack made the save. Chris Tanev to his partner Alex Edler. And Henrik Sedin dumps the puck in on the fly. Chris Higgins in after it, but Jake Gardner just clears the puck to center. Luka Spiza to Kevin Bieksa and back in. Here's Radim Vrbata with a shot off the wing and another nice save by Bernier. Another shot off the wing by Nick Bonino. So Willie Desjardins has altered his lines here to start this period. Now he's got Chris Higgins on the ice with Nick Bonino and Radim Vrbata, and an icing call against Vancouver.
Another example of Bernier doing a nice job of deflecting a rebound, as Vrbata's not trying to score here. He's trying to create a rebound for Higgins, who's driving to the net. Instead of that coming straight out to Higgins, who might have had a tap in, watch Bernier. Directs it over to the corner, no chance at all for a second chance on the goaltender.
Rare goaltender who uses his stick to control rebounds.
Holzer with a shot, and that was off the shoulder of Eddie Lack, and he had no idea where it went.
Most goalies just let it hit their pad. Wherever the rebound goes, it goes.
Here's Vrbata with Higgins, 2-on-2. Following the play is Nick Bonino, and he gets the puck. His pass eluded Chris Higgins. Stanton took a hit, but kept the play alive in the attacking zone for Vancouver. David Clarkson back the other way, gave the puck away. A centering pass, and a good stick by Holzer to keep it away from Stanton. Vancouver had great pressure late in the second period, and they need it early in the third if they want to make this a game. Lyndon Bay forechecking. Bernier out to play the puck. Stefan Robida lift the puck to center. Van Riemsdyk to Kessel. He's stopped by Eddie Lack. And the quiet night continues for the top line of the Maple Leafs. Here's Bay with a shot. Bernier with a save. Bay gets the rebound in front. Another save by Bernier, steered to the corner. And there was defenseman Alex Edler right there in front of the net. Here comes Kessel again. He left the puck behind. Now he makes a play. Van Riemsdyk stopped by Eddie Lack. That's the most we've seen from Toronto's top line tonight. 2 great chances for Van Riemsdyk and Kessel. Dion Phaneuf up the boards. Kevin Bieksa kept the play alive. Quickly back out to center. Another chance. 2-on-1. Kessel shoots. Missed the net. And the rebound goes to the corner. Trying to hunt it down is David Booth.
There wasn't much left in the tank there for Kessel. He looked up, got a chance late in a shift after 2-3 hard rushes up the ice.
He's just now getting to the gas station. Bent over. Lyndon Vay. Turned back by Trevor Smith. Spiza dumps the puck in. Play was offside. Bonino was ahead of the play inside the blue line.
Well, some nifty plays by this top line. It starts with James Van Riemsdyk. This is a loft pass by Robidas. Look at Van Riemsdyk. Great hand-eye. Just calmed it down. Backhand saucer pass that opened up a lane for Phil Kessel. Then the opposite way. Kessel with a drop pass to Van Riemsdyk, and that was a solid save by Eddie Lapp.
Bo Horvat to Kevin Bieksa for Vancouver. Hansen, Horvat, and Nick Bonino to start this period. Here's David Booth with Trevor Smith. He's got Richard Panik out in front. No Matthias in this period. We haven't seen Alex Burrows yet in this third period as well. Jannik Hansen into the attacking zone. Here's Bonino, shoots, and Bernier makes the save, and no rebound for Bo Horvat, who went to the front of the net.
We've mentioned a lot during the game the different depth that this Maple Leaf team suddenly has, and it takes the pressure off of Tyler Bozak, Phil Kessel, James Van Riemsdyk. Look at their ice time differential from this year to last year. And you think down the stretch when this team struggled mightily to win games, that line ran out of gas. They weren't able to be nearly as effective. And Randy Carlyle not having to lean on them as much this season.
Henrik Sedin won the draw. Stanton takes the shot, and Bernier makes another save, and the shot total gets up to 35 for Vancouver. Still they trail by 3. Here's Mike Santorelli. Dion for the follow-up. Big crowd in front of the net. Kadri's in the middle of that. There's a shot by Phaneuf that's blocked, and out come the Sedins. Henrik to Daniel. In comes Alex Edler. Protected the puck, threw it in front, nobody there. In comes Tanev. Plays the puck back, Daniel Sedin. Little back pass to Henrik, looking for his brother, finds Alex Edler. He tops it off, Chris Tanev. Daniel Sedin for Henrik. And to Tanev, heads for the net. Can't finesse it by Jonathan Bernier. Daniel Winnick moves the puck ahead to Nazem Kadri. It's taken away from him by Chris Tanev. Toronto scrambling to change. Vancouver will do the same thing as Tanev gets to center, gives the puck to Edler. His relay back towards the front of the net for Bada. Knocked the puck down. Joffrey Lupul got a hold of it though, and he's 2-on-2 here with Peter Holland. Drives wide on a forward, Nick Bonino. Passes back, Morgan Riley kicked it up to his stick and plays the puck in deep. Edler is back. His outlet. Quickly moved from Bonino to Verbata. Verbata from Higgins in front. That hit a skate, or it might have been a tap in for Nick Bonino, and Bernier holds on again.
Well, to a man, the Leafs have competed tonight, and a good example here, Winnick, Henrik. Winner, Winnick. You know, you think back to that national game where they lost by a boatload, 9 goals given up. National players were saying, we don't score 9 goals in practice. Well, since then, the Leafs have scored 3 or more in 7 straight. Message received from their coaching staff.
Alex Burrows hasn't been out for a while. I don't think he's been out in this period, but he's back now. Maybe one other shift. No Matthias. Burrows is back, and he's on the line with Richardson and Vay.
-3. I'm sure the coach doesn't like that stat. That or the snow job that happened in the second period.
Burrows trying to get open in front. The backhand pass, and he's decked in front of the net by James Van Riemsdyk, who probably took delight in that. Burrows to Vay, and a great save by Bernier, and he snags the rebound and stops play.
Taking Matthias' spot on that line was Burrows. He made a heck of a pass to Vay, but once again, Bernier able to track the puck from behind. So difficult to look from your left and then react quickly. That was a positional save. You saw his reaction trying to find the puck once he felt it hit him, and he was able to get it.
Vancouver loves to shoot the puck. 30-plus shots, 10 of the past 11. They're at 39 now and still counting. Still just under 15 minutes to play in this period. Busy night for Bernier.
Horvat got the draw. Horvat, Hansen, and Verbata. Against Panik, Booth, and Trevor Smith. As the lines have stayed intact for Randy Carlyle. Eddie Lack plays the puck. Dropped it off for Chris Tanev. Jannik Hansen trying to get through the neutral zone and can't. Panik. Booth heads for the net. There's the pass, and Booth couldn't get a stick on it. Morgan Riley held the puck into the line. Trevor Smith with a shot. That's blocked in front of the net. The Leafs get the puck back. Riley again in deep. Alex Edler. Chris Tanev. And tipped out to center by Jannik Hansen.
Saw a good defensive effort by Bo Horvat coming back there. Might have saved another goal.
There's a good opportunity for Willie Desjardins to move him up the lineup now and have a look at him in a different role.
It looks a lot like the LA game earlier in November where they got slapped by the Kings, but he ended up playing head-to-head against Anze Kopitar. See how he was able to handle it.
Bernier makes another save, an easy one albeit, and hangs on. Tomorrow night, the Vancouver Canucks head to Ottawa and play the Senators. They lost today in Pittsburgh, 6:30 Eastern time for the pregame show, and Rogers Hometown Hockey at 7, Vancouver and Ottawa, hosted by Ron McLean from Sudbury, where Randy Carlyle calls hometown in Zilda, just outside of town.
Toe Blake, Al Arbor, a lot about coaching tonight. The panel and in our game, there's a couple real good coaches we just named there.
My father was born in Sudbury too, so got a real affection for that place.
There's Nazem Kadri to the front of the net. He played some in Sudbury. Kevin Bieksa drops the puck off for Lucas Spiza. Derek Dorsett playing with the Twins. Takes the puck off the boards, fires a shot, the rebound. Cody Franson cleared it not out. Spiza holds the puck in. Henrik Sedin, Horvat. Sharp angled shot is stopped. Another chance towards the net and a ricochet off a skate and just wide. And the Canucks are up to 41 shots. But the Leafs lead 4-1. Santorelli dumped the puck in. Daniel Winnick was ahead of him offside.
I go back to talking to Willie Desjardins about the California trip they had early November. They got beat 5-1 in Los Angeles. The next night, another challenge against the Anaheim Ducks. It was Miller getting pulled in the game against the Kings, and they went right back and played Eddie Lack, and he came up with a 2-1 victory. It'll be interesting to see tomorrow, Jim, who gets the net for the Vancouver Canucks.
Eddie's looked pretty good in this game.
It's a bit of a shocker, too, to see Miller get yanked. I mean, 51 games he's played against the Leafs. No other team has he won more against, but he's only been pulled 3 times. So you would never have expected on a Saturday night, coast to coast, that would happen with a red-hot Vancouver team, but it did.
Since they built the 4-1 lead and Miller left, Eddie Lack's only faced 10 shots.
Yeah, he hasn't had much action, has he?
Puck's into the netting out of play.
Well, as my old friend Glenn Healy knows the role of being a backup as he did at the end of his career. It's such a difference when your backup is a good guy and the teams really like him. And here's Lack getting back in the net, winning a big game, a shutout against the Pittsburgh Penguins. And you can just tell by the demeanor of the players. And I know as a player, when your backup is a great guy, works hard, has a good sense of humor, it really gets you to go hard and play for him, and this Vancouver Canucks team did.
Well, Graves talked about Hutcherson for the Winnipeg Jets, and that's the same thing in Winnipeg. They love him, Andrew Hutcherson. They same thing, works hard. The guys really want to win for him. And you know, when you come up from the East Coast League like Hutcherson did, well, it's something a little bit more special to playing in the NHL.
Here's Brad Richardson for Vancouver. Lyndon Vay in front. Alex Burrows, a rolling puck shotted wide. Richardson takes over. No matter what happens with this game, if the score stays the same as Vay takes over to the side of the net, they score! Chris Tanev tipped in the pass, and Vancouver's within 2. And I was just going to say, no matter what, Willie Desjardins will like the fact that his team didn't quit at 4-1.
And the flip side, you saw the look of Randy Carlyle. He can't be happy with his team being very pedestrian in their own zone, standing around, losing battles. And this is a defenseman sliding down low. Richardson, this line, without Matthias, has done this so well this early part of the season. Cycled down low, but what a heads-up pass. Tape to tape, Tanev on the doorstep, sneaking behind Robidas, behind Van Riemsdyk, and 5-hole on Bernier.
Local kid comes back home, first game in Toronto. Game's not going so well, but he gets a big goal there. Why? Is that so important? Well, tickets are $325 a pop.
Yeah,
so he spent a lot of money on tickets not to take something home here.
It's his first goal in 31 games, his first this season, and only the 8th from a Vancouver defenseman this season.
And now you've got a dangerous opponent. Vancouver's got nothing to lose here. They got lots of energy, and Toronto has to try to find a way to get it back. They're going to get a power play here as Panik.
He flipped the stick out of the hands of Chris Higgins, and he's going to get a penalty for it.
What a bad play. I mean, a needless penalty at a time when the momentum is swung. That look says it all. Richard Panik in the middle. He's just going to go at the stick. I mean, there's no reason to do that. And Higgins looking around, can't find where his stick went. But what a golden opportunity to make a game-changing power play goal here again.
4-2 the score for Toronto. The shots are 43-24 Vancouver. And they've been pouring it on here in the third period, playing in the attacking zone as well, and now they've got a power play.
I find the Canucks here, Dion Phaneuf getting a little bit of a rest, stone on his skate. That allows him to settle down and catch a breath.
Shots are 12-4 Vancouver in the third period. They've scored once. Tanev from Vey and Richardson. And now the power play, the 6th begins. Daniel Sedin. Henrik, Daniel tips it, hit the post. Got by and off the post and then bounced out, and here they come again. Daniel shoots, now he hit the crossbar. Henrik, Daniel turns, can't hit the net this time, it was blocked. Canucks get the puck, Radim Vrbata, Henrik Sedin. Round the outside, Daniel Sedin, Alex Edler, Vey's in front of the net. Edler tried to pass off, hit the skate of Daniel Winnick. But Edler got over to try and hold the puck in. Cody Franson stepped in, Winnick helps out, and they clear the puck.
Wow, what a sequence of events. Just real determined, crisp passing, and Sedin, Daniel, frustrated by 2 bars.
They can sense they're not out of this game. You can tell by the way they're playing.
No, you can tell the crowd, too. The nervousness is, that 3-goal lead is evaporated, as we all know, in the past.
Yannick Weber's pass is an errant one picked off. Here comes Peter Holland. He's got a goal and an assist. Short-handed, couldn't get to his shooting position, but he keeps the puck in deep. Kevin Bieksa. 40 seconds to go in this power play. Long rink-wide pass to Yannick Weber. He'll dump the puck in. Chris Higgins awaits its arrival. His centering pass comes across to Weber. He's got Burrows screening in front of the net. On the other side, Bieksa plays the puck down to Chris Higgins. His pass back is intercepted. Taken back. Bonino to Higgins. He spins away and deals to Bieksa. Higgins back to Bieksa and over to Yannick Weber. Turns, fires. That's blocked by the hand of Robidas. Just about time for the penalty to expire. Standing in the penalty box is Richard Panik. And one last rush before he gets out if the Canucks are quick. Bieksa leads the way. It's 5-on-5 again. Cody Franson trying to cut off Kevin Bieksa, and he does. In for the puck comes Brad Richardson. Tanev pinches down the boards against Panik. Backed up by Derek Dorsey. The Canucks have had some good power plays, but haven't had a power play goal. And ample opportunity with 6 chances tonight, and they failed as the puck climbs a stick and out of play. 43-24 the shots for Vancouver. 4-2 the score for the Leafs on Hockey Night in Canada. Since the start of the second period, Vancouver's outshot Toronto 33-16, and some wonderful opportunities on this last power play, the 6th for Vancouver.
A redirected shot by Daniel Sedin off the post and out, and another quick snapshot right off the crossbar and down and missed. Stefan Robidas, killing penalty. You got to block some shots. That one right in the arm area as he makes a great play to not allow that one to get to the net.
26th face-off in the attacking zone for Vancouver. There have been 10 in the Vancouver end. But Toronto leads the game 4-2. Jonathan Bernier's had a wonderful night. Lyndon Vey, Bo Horvat. To the inboard, stepping in is Jake Gardiner. Horvat is right there. Canucks aggressively forecheck. Joffrey Lupul will try and get by that. He turns back the other way. Hard around and out to center. Alex Edler. Up the middle to Vey. Off the boards to Bo Horvat. A tip to Radim Vrbata. Alex Edler. DDD. Here's Chris Tanev to the front of the net. Vrbata couldn't tip that. It was waist high. Edler pinched in. He's got the stick of Clarkson, who battled to get the puck ahead, and Peter Holland cleared it. Chris Tanev in his first game in Toronto has his first goal of the season to make it 4-2. Alex Burrows out with the Sedins now. And the Maple Leafs clear the puck down the ice, and it rolls, so it's not enough for icing. Bieksa is back. Quickly starts back the other way. His pass was out of the reach of Henrik. Burrows will track it down. No, he won't. Beaten to the dot by Dion Phaneuf, icing against Vancouver.
Well, the score and the clock, they're not the friends of the Vancouver Canucks. So what do the Leafs have to do? It's full composure. Just battle, get pucks out. The lines really matter. There's a good example of a battle. Good thing his skates are tied on. Kadri, the same thing. So many question marks about a guy who loves to make dangerous plays. Well, no. Nice, simple little play, just off the glass. Thank you very much. Not enough for icing. That's the simple play that's going to preserve this game and have them move on to fight another night with a win.
Kevin Bieksa into the attacking zone. Daniel Sedin stopped by Nazem Kadri. Burrows trying to hold up Mike Santorelli.
That's another good challenge for Nazem Kadri, though, playing in that role up against Henrik Sedin. Trying to protect the lead.
Now the Leafs get in on the forecheck and get the puck. Santorelli back to the blue line. Here's Morgan Rielly, side of the net intentionally. Winnick takes the puck off the inboards, throws it back to the front of the net, and he stopped that. In comes Morgan Rielly to keep the Canucks bottled up in their own zone. Higgins to Bieksa. Almost lost the puck, but recovered to get it to the blue line. Not out. Phil Kessel held the line. Bieksa again to his partner Lucas Pisa. Nick Bonino with Vrbata and Higgins. Shoot in to facilitate a line change. And the relentless pressure has ended for a moment as Weber takes a shot, tries to get it going again. Bonino against Robidas. Holland in support. Can't get the puck out. Stanton kept it into the shot. On the other side, here comes Yannick Weber. Morgan Rielly tried to clear the puck. It bounced up in the air. Kessel can't get it out. Derek Dorsett keeps it in. Another chance for Rielly. Makes a move to get himself open and bounces the puck to center. Leafs need an over and over game. Out over their blue line, in over theirs.
A real good opportunity for Willie Desjardins, too, to mix his lines up, like you mentioned, and see if anybody grabs some chemistry. Got nothing to lose, and Matthias out.
Derek Dorsett's got a lot of ice time in the third period. Chris Tanev, chased by Joffrey Lupul. Alex Edler, Brad Richardson to Vrbata, intercepted. And in the last few shifts, the Leafs seem to have settled this game down a little bit and got a little more control of it. Vrbata, Tanev, shoot in just wide of the net. Jake Gardiner is back. Push to the ice, Phaneuf is there to Joffrey Lupul. One pass to David Clarkson and out to center. And he'll dump the puck in and change. Into the middle, here's Lyndon Vey with Bo Horvat. Spiza follows on the play. Kadri came back and got the puck. To Daniel Winnick. Pinching is Kevin Bieksa. Aggressively down the boards, trying to stay at it. Up the middle. Burrows can't hold the puck into the line. Kadri can't get inside position on Lucas Spiza to get after the puck. Kevin Bieksa. 3:40 to go. Time to pull Eddie Lack.
Look, you got to be thinking of it. If you get sustained pressure here, you get a dump in and get possession. I wouldn't be shocked.
Here's Daniel Sedin. Back to Henrik. Back to Daniel. Slap pass, side of the net. Backhanded into the corner by Yannick Weber. Goalie remains in the net. Up the boards. Yannick Weber stops the puck. Threw it at the net. Blocked by Peter Holland. Off the boards for Santorelli. Darted to the puck. Takes the shot. Eddie Lack makes the save, and he'll keep the play alive. Out to center. Hansen couldn't get to the puck. Morgan Riley did. Here's Peter Holland. Drives the puck in on Eddie Lack. He makes the save. Chris Tanev back for the puck, battling with David Clarkson. Holland is there as well. He's spilled to the ice. And out with the puck comes Daniel Sedin to Hansen. Drives wide and shoots. And Bernier stopped that. Kicked it aside. Lack was leaving. And he decided he better get back as the puck came out through center. Tanev. 2.5 minutes to go. Hansen gets the puck deep. Here's Brad Richardson. Goaltender's out for the extra attacker. Lupul gets the puck. Bounces it out to center, and Alex Edler is there for Vancouver. And Tanev, he couldn't get it. Lupul tried to feed the puck across to Kadri. Clarkson puts it in the open net. And that should do it. Toronto has a 5-2 lead with 2 minutes 21 seconds to go in the third.
No, it's Clarkson who ends up with the empty net goal, but it may not have happened had it not been for a good read of the youngster Corbidian Holzer. Watch him stand his ground. He doesn't get puck watching, going to the other side, stayed, reversed it back, and made the defensive play that ends up at the other end on a quick pressure turnover and an easy goal for David Clarkson.
So a 5-2 lead. Eddie Lack is back in the net. And a big bounce back night for the Toronto Maple Leafs, but I don't think you'll hear at the end of the game Randy Carlyle starting to criticize a victory or analyze it too much. You want to be careful with that. But it's a really difficult game to get a handle on why it happened.
But after a bad game against the Devils, to not allow yourself to slide into that 2-game slump is a, you don't critique the wins in that case. They needed this one to get right back on track.
Alex Burrows with a long slap shot wide of the net. Ryan Stanton with a shot towards the net. And here comes Dion Phaneuf to center. And he'll dump the puck in. Right back out onto the stick of Alex Burrows. Hometown hockey tomorrow night from Ottawa. On City, it's the Vancouver Canucks against the Ottawa Senators, hosted from Sudbury. Vancouver will be 3-2 on this road trip with 2 games to go. Richardson trying to cut to the net. Horvat works along the boards. Richardson there in the last minute of the third period from Toronto. Alex Edler gets the puck, takes a shot, deflected off Gardner or Dorsett in front of the net wide. Dorsett gets the puck back to Alex Edler, takes the shot, this time deflected into the netting with 32 seconds in. And one last look during this game at the Budweiser Red Light scoreboard. As you look at some of the games from around the league, that's a big comeback win for Detroit tonight. They were behind 2-0 in that game. A final for Columbus in Tampa as they try and right their ship. And Montreal trailing in Dallas 3-1. Still to come tonight, San Jose Sharks, Calgary Flames on CBC, and make sure you stay around for the third period of that one. There's a centering pass. Bo Horvat on the backhand, missed the net. Give this to the Canucks. They haven't packed it in at all. They've kept the pressure up even here at 5-2. looking for something. Horvat. Another save by Bernier with an exclamation mark on his best game of the season. Some of the Leafs were saying today that Bernier hadn't stolen a game for them this season. You might give him credit for that tonight. This is as good a performance as he's had. A 44 save performance and a 5-2 win for Toronto over Vancouver. The Leafs salute the fans tonight, and a 5-2 victory over Vancouver. Their homestand continues as they bounce back after a loss to New Jersey. David?
Yeah, indeed. 3-1 on their 5-game homestand, and no surprise, Jonathan Bernier, 44 saves, and this is 8th straight start. He's the #1 star. Joffrey Lupul, a goal and assist. He now has 4 goals in the last 4 games. He's your 2nd star. Daniel Sedin opening the scoring for the Canucks. He is the 3rd star of this game. A 5-2 win to the Maple Leafs. We're going to get you back to the studio in Toronto with George Strombo and the crew. That's coming up next. Keep it locked here. It's Hockey Night in Canada.